What's up, YouTubers? In this video, we will cover this statement.
I have tolerance for trans people. Just don't think they should have this. I just don't think they should freaking own certain firearms. Just don't think they should own certain firearms, honestly. And these people literally have a mental illness. Body dysmorphia is in the DSM-5, therefore it's a mental illness. It is a mental illness, legally classified. So no, I don't believe anyone with a mental illness should be able to purchase firearms. Especially if they self-mutilated.
First of all, I want to state that I am not a lawyer or a doctor of any kind, and you should always get legal and medical advice from an appropriate person. This guy makes statements just like J. Jonah Jameson, continually trying to prove his personal opinion that Spider-Man is a criminal. In these videos, the criminal to Graham is transgendered people, and he will use any statements he can possibly use to make his point. The best possible way I can reword everything Graham said into something that is more easier to understand is this. There is a danger status used towards transgendered people because they have a mental illness. There is something called a DSM-5 that holds some kind of legal authority over it, and I don't think trans people should be allowed to own certain firearms because of it. So how true is the statement Graham made? Let's start with DSM-5. The DSM-5, written by the APA, stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition. Notice how it states disorder, not illnesses. It is the primary tool used by clinics in the United States to diagnose psychiatric conditions. And just to be clear, the DSM also includes, and I'm not lying, caffeine withdrawal, a nightmare disorder, sleepwalking, and a math disorder. Just because something is listed in the manual does not mean it is a dangerous mental illness. Using Graham's words of body dysmorphia isn't even accurate to begin with, because body dysmorphic disorder, BDD, is an obsessive compulsive disorder where a person is obsessed with a flaw in their body. It is rooted in perception, not identity, which does not accurately cover trans people. Basically, it is a person who thinks they are ugly when the person is very much beautiful. The correct term I believe Graham was referring to is gender dysphoria, which is indeed included in the DSM-5. Dysphoria is a profound state of unease, dissatisfaction, or anxiety, which means someone with gender dysphoria is just extremely dissatisfied with their overall gender and sex situation. So in order for someone to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, they would have to be able to prove a huge mismatch for at least 6 months between their experienced gender and their assigned sex at birth. This would include, but not limited to, a strong desire to be rid of their primary or secondary sex characteristics, a strong desire for sex characteristics of the other sex, or a strong desire to be treated as the other gender. The easiest way to explain it, it is a system error that occurs when the hardware, the body, doesn't support the software, the mind. Nowhere in the DSM-5 does it list that these people are a danger to anyone. It does state that they are at a higher risk of self-harm or unaliving themselves. But research is clear that the largest reason people are with gender dysphoria are at a higher risk of self-harm or unaliving themselves is because of external factors. Specifically, how they are treated by society. Graham making these statements do not help at all. And Graham stating that because it is legally classified is a very dangerous claim. Not only is it an incorrect statement, but you are trying to use some kind of legal status to make your incorrect statement seem more serious. Everyone, accuracy is important here, and the DSM-5 does not hold any legal authority over anything. Matter of fact, the DSM-5 does include a statement to judges or lawyers in case they decide to use this book in legal cases. It states in the book that because someone has a diagnosis in this book, it doesn't mean they meet the legal definition of insane, disabled, or incompetent. A perfect example of this would be someone who has schizophrenia. They can be legally found sane if they understood the difference between right and wrong at the time of the crime. So using a DSM-5 approach to prove that transgender people are too mentally ill to own firearms is extremely inaccurate and very irresponsible to do. And having any mental disorders cannot bar anyone from owning a weapon altogether. For someone with a mental disorder to get banned from owning a gun, courts would have to prove that the person with a mental disorder is indeed a legitimate danger to themselves. Not because they have a mental disorder, but because the mental disorder is causing extra issues for the individual to be considered a danger. Meaning it's very well possible and legal for someone with schizophrenia diagnosis to hold a gun. A mental disorder is a medical condition, not a legal sentence. One of the most important points I want to make throughout my videos towards Graham is this. You have an ethical and religious responsibility to be honest with your audience. You not knowing you were dishonest before making certain statements doesn't make you any less innocent. And know that the words you use and the way you say them can incite actions. So if someone already has a terrible opinion towards transgender people and they see your video, that can not only solidify their beliefs, but also prompt them to commit violence towards the vulnerable group of people. You stating misinformation statements like you made is very dangerous. Because not only are you sharing a lie, which is in itself wrong and an abomination to God, but someone who might actually want to unalive a transgendered person will hear these words and feel more empowered to do so. There is no legal DSM-5 classifications. The DSM-5 handbook doesn't list gender dysphoria as a danger to anyone. The DSM-5 cannot legally be used as an argument to prove transgender people can't own certain firearms. And self-mutilation is not even an accurate term either. Any surgeries that are done are very well planned with high success rates and low disapproval ratings, with less than 1% of individuals going through surgery regretting it. Hip and knee replacement surgeries aren't even that low. So please, Graham, share facts, not lies. If you like this video, please smash that like button, as Graham loves to say. And subscribe so we can make Maga understand they aren't as powerful as they think they are.